Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for day 2 of the round of 8 here in the Team Liquid Legacy Star League Season 2. It is going to be the second half of the bracket, the last 2 matches, a TVZ and a PVZ. Of course, we saw our first 2 semi-finalists get through yesterday. If you haven't seen it yet, close your ears for 10 seconds. So of course we had Siki, 3-0, who was it? Eon Zerg, and then we had Julia actually 3-0 Skyline as well, and I think a pretty big upset. So 2 Zergs already through. They will be playing each other in a ZVZ, and then the winners of these 2 matches today will be playing each other in the second semi-final. So very exciting. All right, 2 best of 5s, 2 different matchups. Hopefully a little bit longer than yesterday. I think yesterday we might have set the record for shortest TLS day ever, even including the show match. So anyway, the matchups are going to be first TerrOr versus Michael in a TVZ. TerrOr did make the round of 8 last season, where I think he got knocked out by who did he get knocked out by? Let me have a quick look. Alright, gonna use my Liquipedia cheat sheet. Liquipedia says oh, it says oh, Michael. Of course. It's the rematch from last season. That's why I couldn't think of it, because I was thinking like was it Michael? But then I was like, no, that's today's match. Surely it was somebody else. So like confusing myself. But okay, so this is actually a rematch from last season. Michael 3-1'd him in the quarterfinals of the first TLS. Man, that was really confusing. I even said it yesterday. I was talking about yesterday how it was a rematch, so anyway, and the other semifinal is going to be Draw versus Technics. Both these guys, I think, dropped out in the round of 16 last season, so they are new to the round of 8 here, but veterans of the Brood War scene, so hopefully will provide us some good games. Anyway, first matchup, as we can see here, TerrOr versus Michael. Best of 5, the maps will be Neo Jade, Match Point, Wind and Cloud, Outsider, and Fighting Spirit, in that particular order. And so yeah, this is actually going to be interesting. So normally, I think I would say Michael would be a favorite here, just in terms of overall skill. But lately, it seems that Michael's been a little bit inactive, and TerrOr has been like really active. So I know TerrOr's participated in the last 2 or 3 weekly Defiler tournaments, and he's placed relatively well. And yeah, he's just been showing solid performances. I mean, in the TLS as well. He 2-0'd his round of 16 group, which had some pretty beastly players. So he took out Skyline in the first game, and then Rams in the winners match, right? So I don't know. I mean, Rams' PVT looked a little bit shaky, but still very well done by TerrOr. And Michael, on the other hand, unexpectedly actually lost. Well, he advanced from his round of 16 group, obviously, but he lost in the winners match to Julia in a ZVZ. He lost 1-2, but yeah, that was pretty interesting. Although on the other hand, Julia is kind of on fire, especially after his performance yesterday. So maybe that's not necessarily a sign that Michael is a bit weak now. But who knows? Who knows? Let us find out here in the actual games. So with that, let us go on to game number 1 on Neo Jade. Alright, here we go into game number 1. At the top left, as the white Zerg, we have Michael. And at the bottom left, as the red Terran, apparently recently inducted into KT Rollster, we have TerrOr. Not to be confused with the Korean player TerrOr, who is rather infamous for his stream antics. This is a Peruvian Terran player. Oh, gasp! A Peruvian who's not a Zerg? It's crazy, I know. I actually find it quite ironic that Peruvians have like such a reputation for cheesy Zergs, and yet you know, at the moment, their best player is a Terran. Oh, looks like there's a bit of lag. Oh, and that of course means the elimination of our purple observer to Apocalypse. Sad to see him go, but it is, of course, standard practice. It's like part of the TLS build order. You know, invite Apocalypse to the game and then kick him out, just show him who's boss. Oh, quick note, by the way, I think the Twitch chat is still sort of not working, so if you guys actually want to talk to people, you can go to the handy-dandy live report thread on teamliquid.net. That's a very fun place to be. I do always enjoy reading the live report comments after the cast. Kind of go back and go through all of them and giggle at the funny ones. Anyway. So it looks like Terra's going for a wall here at the front. Presumably this is just going to be a wall into fast expand. So you can do a link tight wall with 2 depots and a barracks, just build them in a line. It's very, very easy. But you know, this can occasionally indicate some kind of you know, fast factory opening, which Terra does actually like to do in TVZ. Terra's TVZ style is quite unique here. I see him do like a lot of quick factory timings, but not like rushing straight to factory. So he'll open normally with like a 1-racks expand, and then get a factory relatively quickly thereafter and go for some, like, you know, crazy vulture timings. Actually, it looks like it's going to be a CC first here. So he's going to go 14 CC and then wall in behind, so it's going to make it relatively safe, I mean, as far as command center first openings go. So taking a bit of a risk here. Now Michael is going to, actually his Overlord stopped here, but if he pokes in a little bit, he will see it. But he's gone for a 12 hatch, and actually, oh my god, he's not making a pool. He's gone 3 hatch before pool. Michael, he must have seen the command center, or at least seeing the wall, just expected it or something. I'm sorry, I didn't quite see whether he actually knew exactly what was going on, but I mean, obviously, going 3 hatch before pool, he must know that it was a 14cc. And of course, TerrOr, having gone for this 14cc, isn't scouting at all. He's just chilling behind his wall. So he has no idea what Michael's done here. And this is some crazy greedy play from both players right out of the gate. This is really interesting, actually. And Michael just showing how great he is at adapting to all these situations. I mean, you know, he is known as the Cheese King, but he isn't limited to just cheeses. He does have very solid macro play. And I think the cheesiness and the vast variety of builds that he knows just allow him to, you know, do great adaptations. I mean, I'm not saying that 3H before pool is some completely outlandish thing that he's just invented, but certainly takes some guts to do that. And it looks like Terra's finally scouted out now. Obviously, he saw the Overlord, so he's sending the SCV in the correct direction. And he will see that the third hatchery is going to be finished extremely quickly here. I don't know if he'll be able to tell from this timing that it is a 3 hatchery full pool. So you can see he's actually gotten here just as it finishes, so the creep is not quite spread out yet. But you know, normally I think at this timing this hatchery would not quite be done yet. So so you know, if his game sense is on the money, he should realize what's happened here, and obviously there's nothing too much he can do about it. Now look at this, he's actually gone for a factory follow-up, exactly as I said. TerrOr does occasionally do weird things, but this is quite quick. I'm wondering if he's going to go for some starport after this, or is this actually going to be 2 factories? Is he actually going to go mech? He has enough money, it's going to be mech, I think. Yeah, it's a second factory, so TerrOr's actually going all-out mech here. It'll be interesting to see if he turns this into just like a 2-base all-in, like some kind of +1 flat-back Goliath attack, or if he actually takes this to the long game here. Mech play is not seen that commonly nowadays, at least as an opening, just because I think generally it's considered not quite as strong as bio play if the Terran player has really good control. But you know, for lower level Terran players, you definitely still see mech a lot because it's a lot easier mechanically to actually pull off. And I do remember last season in TLS, TerrOr actually showing some problems with his bio control, and particularly on electric circuit, which is quite funny because, you know, it was supposed to be sort of a Terran favored map in this matchup, and he kept messing it up with his micro. So yeah, I don't know if that plays a role in his choice to go for mech here. Anyway, Michael's on the very standard thing here to defend against early Vulture, so he's kind of walled in with the Hydrogen and has a Sunken already. So it looks like Michael, without even really scouting anything, has predicted a fast Vulture here from TerrOr. I actually have no idea how he saw this coming, or if that was just like a precautionary measure, or if he just knows TerrOr's style, because he's defended against it perfectly, but obviously has absolutely no way of knowing that there was a factory over here. So that is something pretty crazy insight. And look at this, TerrOr actually going for double Vulture upgrades here. This is going to be pretty crazy. He's going to come out with a bunch of Vultures. As soon as they have speed, he's going to run past all those other things. He's going to try and run into the main. And the cool thing is the mines can act... Vulture mines do actually hit larva and eggs. So he may try and like hit a pre-muted timing here. You can see Michael's actually saving up money, saving up larva to go for muted. So I think TerrOr wanted to hit a pre-muted timing and maybe do like a fantasy style, go in and like blow up all the muta eggs, which was you know, a very cool part of the fantasy build. I mean, obviously this isn't the actual fantasy build itself, but the principle seems to be similar. Although having said that, it looks like he only made 3 Vultures, which is very strange to me, considering he basically rushed for double Vulture upgrades and then only got 3 Vultures. I don't really understand that. I mean, that seems quite wasteful to invest so heavily in those early Vulture upgrades and then not actually, get a bunch of Vultures. And it looks like he's actually back-teching into Bio here. So what he's done is, he's gotten these early Goliaths, and they'll definitely help a lot when the mutas come back, but the crucial thing is, he's actually going to back-tech into a lot of Marines, and if Michael isn't aware of this, if he doesn't realize what's going on, Michael could actually build the completely wrong unit composition to deal with what TerrOr has. But this Muta is actually going to see the second barracks, and that's very, very crucial. He sees the second barracks. I don't know if he saw the engineering bay blinking. I feel like he might have actually, but it doesn't really matter. The second barracks is what is crucial. Man, that was such a great move by Michael, just sacrificing a single Mutalisk to get a complete scout of his opponent's base, and now he knows about the back-teching, because this is so crucial, because the Zerg unit composition dealing with Bio versus Mech is completely different. When you're dealing with Bio, you want Mutas into Lurker Ling, into a fairly fast hive to get defilers and all that good old hive tech. But if you're going against a meching player, like a pure meching player, you actually want Mutas and Hydras generally. I mean, you can go one or the other, or you can go for a mix. And oftentimes the hive is extremely delayed, and you don't really get very many lurkers either, because lurkers are actually not very good against mech. Their damage output is just not quite good enough, and the mech units don't really stack as much as the Marines do, the medic Marine. So very, very crucial for Michael to actually have seen that, or else he could have been in real trouble when this first attack comes. And also, notice the upgrades are actually this is interesting. He's gotten plus one range attack. A bit of harass going on, but with the Goliath range, it's very difficult for him to actually do anything. It's curious to me that he's gotten range attack. This is like an anti-mech upgrade. If he was, if you're facing Bio, you generally get Carapace first. So it looks like he's still sort of half blocking the mech, and then, which is reasonable because TerrOr is still making Goliath, so that's gonna help against that. But there's gonna be a lot of Marines coming out here. It looks like TerrOr might just be going for a big 2-base all in, and oh my God, Michael sees it again here. This is really brilliant. I mean, I've seen single Mutalisks sacrifice like this before, but going for a second one again, just to double check exactly what's going on. This is really, really cool stuff. Looks like a bit of Vulture Harass over here. There was a sunken, so it looks like only a couple of drones did fall there. There were only 3 Vultures on the map anyway, so I didn't think they would really do any significant damage. One interesting thing to note, by the way, is that +1 armor actually finished first for TerrOr. He got that before +1 attack. I'm not sure the exact logic behind that. I mean, I guess getting +1 armor does help a lot against mutas. I mean, it stacks with the +1 armor that's already there, and obviously with the muta bounce, it helps a ton against that. And interestingly, Michael is actually making a lot of mutas here, which doesn't seem like the greatest idea to me, because I mean, this composition is almost the hard counter to mutas. I mean, it's Bio plus Goliaths, so the Marines have insane DPS and the Goliaths have insane range. So it's really not like you can't even try and be cute and micro against the Marines, because the Goliaths will just outrange you. But it looks like Michael's just going in here with 2 groups of units here. He's counterattacking, and notice TerrOr's army is out on the map here. He's completely out of position. He's running home as fast as he can. But it looks like he might just be turning around. He's going to rely on the Marines that are back at home and send the rest of his army out to counterattack here. Michael bringing one control group of mutas back, keeping the other in the base of harass. Looks like he's losing control a little bit though. Bit of I don't know, hesitation on this group. I mean, two group Muta Micro is no easy feat here. Pretty limited to like Jadong, and that's it. Although no, I have seen some amateur Koreans on Afrika do it, but it's pretty insane. Meanwhile, looks like another hatchery going up for Michael here. Some mines are spawning out. I'm a little bit surprised that these mines aren't actually blocking the hatchery. I don't know if the drone cleared it or what happened there. That seems like a bit of a mistake. I mean, I guess there's no way for a drone to clear it. There's no overlord over there. So that seems a bit weird. Could just be a mistaken placement. Anyway, the mutas are still flying around here, but the thing is, there's no way for these mutas to engage the Terran force head on. I mean, even this small force of Marines is going to do massive damage to these mutas. They are +1 Marines, and oh man, the mutas is taking insane amounts of damage. I mean, I don't know why Michael has stayed on this composition, seeing what, you know, Terra's going for here. I mean, Bio plus Goliath is exactly what you want against mutas, and it looks like now Michael finally has a bunch of Hydras coming out. But really, those mutas are pretty questionable here. I mean, Michael, despite seeing what Terra was doing, seems to have gone for a purely anti-mech composition here. He's gone for pure Hydra muta. You know, getting +1 carapace for the mutas and +1 attack for the Hydras, and that's like exactly what you do against pure mech. But this isn't pure mech at all. This is in fact mostly bio with like mech support. This is not the composition that Michael wants at this point. Anyway, Michael's gonna camp at the top of his ramp. Unfortunately, he actually has gotten supply blocked, presumably due to losing some random overloads in the middle of the map. Anyway, he's making good use of these mutas. He knows he can't engage head on with them, so he's just trying to pick off reinforcements. But oh man, looks like Michael is now getting sieged down here. He's going in with the flank from the back of Hydras. Hydras at the front as well, but they're getting a little bit stuck behind the Sunkens. And look at these Hydras just melt to the tanks with Marine support. I mean, this is just not correct here. However, the mutas do come in at the last second, and a lot of the Marines have been whittled away here. The 2 tanks have fallen, and it looks like Michael, will there be enough here for him to defend? All the Hydras have fallen. He's still got some mutas left. He's building Hydras as fast as he can. He's lost his Hydra Den now, though, so he'll only be able to reinforce with Lings. A few Hydras do pop out, but these Medic Marine are just going to be so strong, and Michael is just committing here with the mutas, but there's no way he has enough. He loses every single Mutalisk, and Michael's natural is now completely vulnerable. He will not only lose the Hydra Den, but his Spire is going to be under attack here in just a second as well. And these Hydras will just be annihilated as they come up. Although no, looks like some more Hydras from the back isn't going to be enough. He's lost a lot of drones here, but it looks like Michael somehow cleans this up. I don't even know how he is still alive here. With just a few more reinforcing Hydras, he has cleaned it up, and now Terror is in a bit of an awkward situation. Oh my god, Terror's floating so much money. I don't know why he has that much money. Is he making a 3rd command center? He's gotten some science, a science facility to get some vessels out, but man, Terror, he needs to spend some of that money. That cannot be allowed, and crucially, this hatchery has actually stayed alive here. It's not mining, but you know, it's still providing larvae to Michael, and I think that's where some of those flanking Hydras came from, the 12 o'clock and the top right expansions. Meanwhile, Terra's actually decided not to continue pressing the front. He's going to go towards the top right instead, just take out this fresh base here. But he's got to be so careful. This is actually a relatively small force. Doesn't want to overcommit with it, although it looks like he's just going to go for it, just going to leave some tanks at home to defend. Got some wandering medics. I have no idea what these medics are doing. Where the hell is this medic going? Anyway, looks like, oh, some tank's going to siege down at 12 o'clock while the bio goes and deals with the space. That's a little bit risky here because that's going to allow these Lings, you can see, just close with the siege tanks. Interestingly, the Lings don't even have speed yet, it doesn't look like, but it doesn't matter. Without any Marine support, these tanks are just sitting ducks here. I don't know why he separated his force like that. I guess he thought the Zerg army was a little bit further away than it was or something, but now the Marine's just going to go hide in the top right corner. So he's dealt with that top right natural. The 12 o'clock is still alive. It's still barely mining. I mean, I guess it's got the gas here, but as you can see, Michael's already banking a lot of gas, so I don't know if it's even better for him. Actually, oh man, look at his saturation. He lost so many drones at the natural early, so that attack actually did do quite a bit of damage. Only his main is well saturated. He's gone back into mutas right now, but Michael's economy is pretty shattered. However, Terror is getting very close to mined out here. He's still, well, actually, not as much as I would have thought. He's actually got about 300, maybe a little more than 300 minerals per patch on average, which is not terrible. That he still does have a little bit of income left, and you can see his 3rd command center is floating over there. Meanwhile, Michael is just committing with these mutas. Again, I don't see this really being effective. You should never really engage head-on with mutas against Medic Marine unless you have a vastly, overwhelmingly superior force. I mean, you literally need, like, you know, 2 or 3 mutas per Marine for a head-on A-move engagement to actually be worth it. That's just how efficient Marines are. Medic Marine is against Mutalisks. Really needs to rely on that micro a little bit more. And I know Michael has good muta micro. You know, it's not like, you know, he's some player that can't really control mutas very well. He definitely has the muta control. So I don't know why he's committing so much here instead of doing a bit more micro. It looks like Terror has gotten his 3rd base established, sending a few SCVs over there now. Meanwhile, the small Marine force is still walking around. Looks like they're going to get cleaned up by this little Zerg army. I don't think there's really nothing in there. So they're going to get taken down. But I think Terra's in a pretty decent position now. Michael's got his Queen's Nest, wants to go up to Hive here, wants to start getting those Defilers out to really help against this. Because if you notice, Terra has essentially gone back into a completely normal bio composition. So instead of continuing Goliaths, he's actually using both factories to just produce siege tanks, and then spending all the rest of his money on Marines. So now he's just got a relatively standard composition, just very heavy on siege tanks. So this is obviously a lot more siege tanks than you would normally see, and that's why he's only got one. Well, he's actually got 2 starports. Never mind. Excuse me. I assumed he would only have 1, but I guess now that he's got his 3rd gas, and since he didn't, or since he had some gas saved up from the beginning, I guess he can afford that. Generally on 2-base, you can't really afford, or you definitely can't afford 2 starports and 2 factories pumping tanks and vessels. That's why, the standard SK Terran is you don't make tanks at all, and you just get 2 port vessels. And there are some builds where you just get 2 fact tank and only 1 port vessel, although that's a little bit less common, I think. But yeah, I guess now that he's got his 3rd base, he can sort of afford this, and he was able to afford it earlier just by having the bank. So this is actually really nice. So 2 fact tank, 2 port vessel. I mean, this is going to be a really tech-heavy, beefy army, but he's got to be a little bit careful here. So that means he's not going to have quite as many Marines, and he's actually got very few medics as well. So every stim is actually going to cost him quite a bit here. So definitely has to be careful. Oh, no, he's also got to be careful with the vessels. Is he going to lose that vessel? He does lose 1 vessel. Could have actually potentially lost a 2nd. Michael, miscontrolling there, or just not quite realizing he could have taken that 2nd vessel. Meanwhile, Michael is taking that 4th base. He does definitely want that base. Is this still the same medic from earlier? I don't know. But anyway, looks like Michael's going in. Look at that minimap. Everything is going in. Not the best surround, and the lurkers definitely borrow a little bit earlier. The leading Marines do get taken down, but a lot of the back lurkers are not providing much damage at all, and TerrOr takes the engagement easily. Michael plummeting the 67 supply, and GG from Michael. He put everything into that attack and couldn't do it. Knows he can no longer stop TerrOr's force, and TerrOr takes game number 1 here in this best of 5. Our hopes for a non-ZVZ finals are still alive. Oh man, but it's not over yet. That is only 1 game, and now we are going on to match point. But first, we'll go to a quick ad break. Don't go anywhere.